Hi. So I'm going to tell you about tapping. I'll tell you a little bit about how it works, why it works, and what we're going to do with it. So tapping, it's easiest to understand it as acupressure for the emotion. We're tapping along different points along the body, the same ones that have been used in acupuncture for thousands of years. And what we're doing is we're sending a calming signal through the connective tissue in the body to the brain and telling the brain, hey, this situation doesn't need to cause this fight-flight response. I don't need to get all riled up when I think about it. Anything from sugar cravings or PTSD can be a big issue or a small issue. I don't need to get this riled up about it. So it kind of brings it up out of this subconscious kind of reactive place and more into conscious processing so that we can have a choice about how we feel about it. And it's really neat the way it works in the brain. Every time we think of a situation, our brain kind of brings it back into our nervous system, like we're having that experience right now. So by sending the calming signal at the same time as bringing this issue up, we're kind of repainting it and painting it in a more neutral or even more positive color. It's a really wonderful tool, and it's really fast and effective. It can be so effective sometimes you forget that you had the issue, which is kind of funny and cool. So there's a little bit of a protocol that goes with it. I'll show you. We're just going to be tapping with our fingertips, like it's like a light drumming with the fingertips along different points of the body, and we'll be voicing certain statements. Some of the statements might feel a little foreign to you if you're not used to saying things about how you approve of yourself or love yourself unconditionally. It might feel a little bit unusual, but just know that it's far better for your health, your relationships, your life satisfaction to practice self-compassion and self-care than it is to be like super confident and feeling really strong and successful. It's actually going to make you a much happier person and much more loving and centered and connected and grounded person to practice self-care and love and compassion. So that's a big part of the tapping. And I think that's a great place for us to start just showing you the points. So the inside edges of the eyebrows is our first tapping point. And then we'll move to the outside edges of the eyebrows, right along the sides of the eyes. And we'll usually say about one statement per spot, kind of varies sometimes. Under the eyes, right on the bone, under the nose, in the crease of the chin, on the bottom side of the collarbone, right towards the middle, on the side of the body, right around where a woman's bra strap would be. Sometimes people tap like this. You might see it like that, whichever way feels right for you. And then on the front of the body, on that same horizontal line. And some of the points might feel tender. They're often called tender points. That's usually a sign that your body's ready to process whatever it's processing through that point in the body. And then on the wrists, I tend to make a little half circle with my wrists. There's a bunch of points right there. And then the top of the head. And I'll just kind of tap in a big circle around the top of my head. And those are the basic points. We'll start with what's called the setup statement, and it's right at the karate chop point. That's what they call it. It's the sides, the fleshy sides of the palms. So if you imagine you were like karate chopping, and then you chop them together. And in this space, we're going to kind of set the tone when we're doing this point. We're setting the tone for each round of tapping. Tapping tends to work in rounds. We'll keep track of where we are by setting a little SUD scale, subjective unit of discomfort. So we'll track where we are and we'll see where we're going. Right around the middle point of that kind of scale from 1 to 10, right around the 5 is when you can start to bring in more positives. It's when your subconscious is ready for bringing in more positives. So you kind of clear out the negatives, clear out the obstacles, and start to bring in and steer towards the positives. It's a really simple process, and it can be a lot of fun. Don't be surprised if you giggle. It's totally normal. And that's it. Let's get started.